My project for right now is working on these port lights here. So the thingy that goes in here to seal it up was very rotten and hard as a rock. So we found these other ones in the boat. They are kind of solid there. I have no idea what these are called. The packaging they came in wasn't even opened, but the label is completely gone. So we tried it out and it looked like it worked. So what I did was I took a piece of rope, held it up here and used it to help measure how long I needed, and then cut some. Looks like it's gonna fit pretty good. So now I'm gonna take some super glue and glue these things, the two ends together, and then put it up in there and see how it goes. All right, so here I am cleaning out the groove that this gasket is gonna go into. Just want to make sure it was really nice and clean. There was no debris or old gasket parts or dirt left in there. So got it nice and clean. This is a string that I used for the other side. I'm pretty sure they're the same, but just thought I would double check and make sure. Sure enough, they are. And so here's the gasket that I got cut, or the O-ring. It's probably an O-ring. And it looks like it's gonna fit. So now we'll get the glue ready, and this super glue takes a little bit of time to dry, so I'm going to hold these two ends together and just sit down. My husband is working on the hatch right above my head, so that's why I have headphones on. It's really loud right there. I offset that opening just to the side there, and I am going to use the hatch to gradually squeeze this O-ring into the groove, and just want to make sure it gets squeezed in evenly all the way around. I'm not going to tighten the hatch down all the way, but just give it a good little snug tight down, and they both squeezed out a little bit the same. We'll come back next weekend and see how it turned out.
All right, so we're leaking up in the front there in the V-berth. Just pried off the hatch, and this is pretty pliable still and doesn't look bad, so maybe we're barking up the wrong tree here. So we took the hatch off, got all that caulk off. There's these spacers in here, and it's kind of interesting because these are, I mean, it's not, the boat's not level, but if you look at the bubble, that's way over. But on this side, it's, you know, it's only, it's just touching the line, or just a little over the line. But when you put the hatch back on, that's about where it goes. So you can see that this little shim in here creates a gap on this side and this side. And that's true on both.
Big gaps right there.
Yeah, both sides.
But
up in the front here, there's obviously a gap because of the shims, but if you push down, like, it's pretty even all the way across. Maybe a little tighter in the middle there, but that might be the pressure of my finger. So I didn't, that little those shims in there, I didn't want to take them out at first, but it seems like they're just causing problems. They're not doing anything good. So we may get those shims out and then figure out that we did the wrong thing, but right now it seems like the right thing to do. So I don't necessarily want to make new shims, but I think that's what we're gonna do. Like a 5-in-1 painter tool. It's like really good for taking off trim. 5-in-1 painter tool. Like when I was taking the hatch off, this thing goes in between really well and doesn't damage stuff like a crowbar does. I didn't want to take those shims off because I thought they would break. But you can see that 5-in-1 tool took that thing off without cracking those shims. And that's why I use the 5-in-1 tool. Learned that trick on the job site, I guess. And then what you can see here is, man, that makes it a lot tighter. There is a little bit of a rise here. And then on this side, when this thing is sitting here, you can see like a big gap there. But I think that gap is coming from the trim inside of here. So if I pull the hatch this way, obviously it wouldn't sit like this, but that closes that gap. And so I think instead of cutting this trim on the top, whoever did this decided to put shims in. So I'm planning on just cutting all this off and doing it that way. So that's the multi-tool with the scraper blade. That's the hard scraper for taking off that caulk. And I'm going to use the same tool, but I'm going to switch the blade out to cut this back.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So here we are working together on this hatch. Tim again switched out that blade and he's trying to get the top of this hatch really nice and flat. And then I've got some mineral spirits on a rag and I'm just cleaning up any extra caulk or stickiness or things that might get in the way of this thing sealing down nice and tight.
There's some kind of foamy something here, see that? Yeah. Some kind of putty or something. Yeah, I think you're doing the right thing. The problem is it's not flat. Right. So this is all now like about a 16th. Okay. Less than that. Okay. That's what we want. We don't want too much because then it won't look good. Right. But the actual function needs to be more important in the way it looks. Yep. And this right here, that's a gouge. Yep. So I don't have fiberglass with me, but a little bit of. We might have fiberglass. Did you bring it? No, it's down in there. Oh, yeah. There's like epoxy and there's some cloth. It's really coarse.
All right, we also found this. This one, you just pull this cap off, push them down together, and should regulate the mixture. So it should be 50-50. You know, you got a hardener, you got two parts, the resin part and the hardener part. And based upon how fast you want it to cure, use different hardeners for different temperatures and speeds. And this is just a general, it said marine grade epoxy.
Oh, okay.
So, by the way, we're using these epoxies because I have a ton of it at home, but I just left it at home.
Home is
3.5
hours away.
3.5 hours.
So we're learning to make do with what's on the boat and trying to remember what's on the boat.
And then this is like a thickener.
Ooh.
This is really where you should be wearing a respirator. So we got a little powder in there. And this is a commercial thickener made especially for this job. If you were in a pinch, you could throw a little sawdust in there, or you can see it's kind of thickened it.
Oop.
But the reason those two were different colors is you want a nice neutral color. You see how that, like, there's not a light one and a dark one anymore, it's just more of a gray.
Oh, and that's how you know it's mixed good?
That's how you know it's mixed good.
Oh, okay.
But a good rule of thumb is like a minute.
Oh, okay. And so now we're gonna put this on the hatch. Any place he kind of marked it with arrows, but there's some decent holes and low spots and whatnot, so I'm gonna just get to work with that.
your
maybe.
standard squeegee. See, now that little hole's filled in. And then there's a hole here.
So I'm just gonna let you watch this a little bit. So on this side, there's a big old hole right there. Well, not hole, divot. Pretty decent sized divot. So we're trying to fill that in right there. Oh, right there's a big old divot. Trying to fill that in.
So you need to get an even thing all the way across here, but I want to fill all these screw holes because I noticed when I took it off, those screw holes extruded up into these places where the screws come down. I don't know what to call it. And that created a pretty good seal. So I'm going to try to replicate that. A lot of this stuff I'm just trying to figure out as I go. But I'm gonna put a thick bead along this channel that goes along, and also get a bunch in these screw holes, because I think that's going to be helpful. Don Casey in his book recommends this and the 3M 101. They didn't have 3M 101, so we went with this.
There's like a groove right there.
And again, that groove was obvious. So I want to make sure that it's full. Like when we took the hatch off, it was creating a shelf that blocked the
Water.
Yeah, did I stop in the middle of the sentence? If you got a better way of doing it, I guess you can put that in the comments.
All right, so we got a lot of caulk put on there, and then I just used my finger and just went all over the place and smeared it everywhere. So it is fully covered. And then in the book we were reading that we're gonna set it down and kind of shake it a little bit just to get it to all set nice, and then start screwing it back down, I guess.
Procedure for screwing it down is to not tighten it super tight. You start tightening it like a tire from one side to the other until the caulk just barely squeezes out.
So there's the hatch. You can kind of see the stuff coming up through there and oozing out. And so we're gonna try and go in a pattern and catch the gooey stuff as it comes out, but not over tighten it either. So that was our project for the weekend. Like and subscribe if you would like to see how it turned out, and stay tuned till next weekend. We did put a tarp over this because it said to let it cure for like 7 days or something crazy long. So we tarped it up, and we'll be heading back out to the boat and checking on it. So follow along and see if we did a good job. If you have suggestions for us, leave that in the comments on what we should have done better. And if you think we did a good job, that would be nice to have some encouragement. So leave that in the comments too. Thanks.